Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz emphasizes that he has no intention of controlling the media, stating that he never has nor does he plan to do so. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz designates the construction of an airport on the remote island of Macunudu as a principal priority of his administration, and government appoints former Minister Hamdoun Hamid as an advisor to the Minister of Finance and Planning.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz emphasizes that he has no intention of controlling the media, stating that he never has nor does he plan to do so. He, however, urged everyone to exercise responsibility in their actions. He makes these remarks at a meeting with residents of Nolivaram Faru held during his ongoing tour of the inhabited islands of Hadal Atoll.
The President affirmed that the government remains steadfast in advancing the aspirations of the public, emphasizing that its primary responsibility is to ensure the realization of those aspirations. He stressed that all citizens bear corresponding responsibility to facilitate the smooth progression of national initiatives. While the government undertakes project implementation, he noted that others, be they political parties, organizations, or the media, must act concurrently. With regard to the Maldivian Media and Broadcast Regulation Bill currently under consideration in Parliament, the President clarified that he has no intention to influence in the legislative process and has communicated this position to members of Parliament representing the ruling party. He further observed that although the bill stipulates that the proposed commission would be governed by an individual appointed by the President, he has pledged to refrain from exercising such authority. The President asserted that the media must remain free from external influence and reaffirmed the necessity of its independent operation. He further stated that he has no desire to exert any control over media regulation, emphasizing that the media should function in a manner that is fully independent, transparent, and accountable. Earlier in the day, President Muiz met with the Nolivaram Faru Island Council, the Women's Development Committee, and the heads of local institutions to discuss the island's key development priorities. As part of the President's visit to Nolivaram Faru, a series of agreements were signed towards the island's development. These include the Health Centre Extension Project, the Multipurpose Hall and School Infrastructure Development Project, the Harbour Expansion Project, the Football Stadium Establishment Project, and the Sports Complex Development Project. In addition, land previously allocated for tourism development in Nolivaram Faru was formally removed from the registry of the Ministry of Tourism and Environment and returned to the Island Council. The President said the project signed would mark a new chapter in Nolivaram Faru's development and said it will significantly raise the standard of development for the people of the island. The visit marked the seventh stop in a comprehensive itinerary that includes all 13 inhabited islands within Hadal Atoll.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz designates the construction of an airport on the remote island of Macunudu as a principal priority of his administration, pledging its swift completion alongside a suite of infrastructure and public service initiatives aimed at transforming the island's connectivity, economic trajectory, and living standards.
During a recent visit to Macunudu, where he was received with notable warmth, President Muiz underscored the strategic importance of the airport project, citing the island's geographic isolation and the logistical challenges faced by its residents. The proposed airport for the island will feature a 1,800-meter runway supported by extensive land reclamation. In tandem with the airport initiative, President Muiz officiated the launch of several infrastructure projects during his visit. The President announced that the health center would be established as a Level 4 facility equipped with expanded capacity and advanced medical services, including X-ray, scanning, and dialysis. President Muiz reported that the multipurpose hall at Macunudu School is expected to be completed within 6 weeks, a milestone he believes will contribute meaningfully to academic advancement. On housing, he confirmed that a dedicated project would be launched following the completion of land reclamation, with funding allocated in the forthcoming national budget. The Maldives Transport and Contracting Company, or MTCC, has been awarded a major infrastructure contract comprising land reclamation, coastal protection, and airport development in Macunudu. Addressing the significance of the initiative, Macunudu lawmaker Adam Shafiq pointed to the island's long-standing deficit in transport infrastructure. The visit also included consultations with members of the Macunudu Island Council, the Women's Development Committee, or WDC, and representatives of local institutions. The groundbreaking ceremony for the new health center was held during the President's tour of Hadal Atoll, led by Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim. A formal ceremony was held to inaugurate the construction of a new police station in Macunudu, with the foundation stone laid by Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Ihsan. The President's visit also featured the commencement of construction of a fitness and recreation center in Macunudu, advancing President Muizz's pledge to strengthen recreational infrastructure across the country. Furthermore, the Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources is preparing to transfer a privately owned non-operational ice plant in Macunudu to the state-run Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company, or MIFCO, Minister Ahmad Chiam announced during President Muizz's visit to Hadal Atoll. To add to this, passport issuance services were officially launched in Macunudu during the President's visit, with the inauguration led by Minister Ali Ihsan during President Muizz's public meeting with residents.
President Dr. Mohamed Muizz announces a broad slate of development initiatives for Vakarudu, pledging to resolve long-standing infrastructure and social challenges through targeted projects scheduled for completion this year and next. The commitments were made during a meeting with residents held as part of the President's ongoing tour of inhabited islands in Hadal Atoll.
Among the most urgent undertakings is the relocation of Vakarudu's power plant, currently situated in a residential area. The President described the situation as worse in Vakarudu compared to other islands and assured residents that the project would be completed this year. Plans for infrastructure improvement extend to the island's harbor, which is set to undergo redevelopment under a recently signed agreement. The initiative includes the construction of a designated swimming area and a swimming track intended to enhance both functionality and public access. Attention also turned to the education sector, where 12 long unfinished classrooms are now expected to be completed within 2 months. The President's agenda includes a series of recreational upgrades, with several facilities scheduled for completion this year. President Muizz announced that work on the football field will be expedited and brought to completion, while the fitness and recreation center, currently under development, will be finalized. He added that additional plans include the construction of a handball court and an outdoor gym. A skate park, described as a key presidential pledge, has been assigned to the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company, or MTCC. The President acknowledged Vakarudu's reputation as an island populated by educated individuals who cherish religion and the Quran. In response, he announced that a branch of the National Center for the Holy Quran is scheduled to be established on the island early next year. Looking ahead, the President identified additional development priorities for 2026. These include the construction of a modern mosque and upgrades to the island's health center, with increased staffing and resources to be incorporated into the national budget. Acknowledging that housing remains a pressing concern, President Muizz announced that a project to construct 50 new units is planned for next year, aimed at addressing the island's residential needs. As part of his itinerary, President Muizz has formally inaugurated a new Bank of Maldives, or BML, ATM service in Vakarudu, reaffirming his administration's commitment to expanding financial access across the nation. The President is accompanied by cabinet ministers and senior officials from various government agencies during his tour.
President receives a warm welcome during 10th stop in the tour of Hadal Atoll. Upon arrival in Nekorindu, President Muizz was greeted by dozens of island residents alongside members of the Island Council and senior officials from local institutions. His delegation comprises several cabinet ministers and high-ranking representatives from government agencies.
President Dr. Muizz, during the visit, witnessed the official commencement of the Nekorindu Health Center Extension Building project, with the contract awarded to the Fenica Corporation Limited. The Minister of Health, Minister Abdullah Nazim, inaugurated the construction alongside Fenica's Managing Director Mohammad Najah and the Nekorindu Island Council President. During the ceremony, Minister Nazim reiterated the commitment of President Dr. Muizz's administration to strengthen healthcare systems in the atolls and address the challenges faced by health centers. He acknowledged the need for more space at the health centers in Hadal Atoll to provide adequate healthcare services. The minister also stated that the government's goal is to develop modern, high-quality health services in the atolls, adding that numerous health projects are underway, which, upon completion, will resolve the current challenges in the regional healthcare system. Nekorendu also became the latest island to get access to a self-service ATM as part of the ongoing initiative to establish the service in all inhabited islands. President Dr. Muiz inaugurated the new ATM in Nekorendu during the visit as he presented a ceremonial bank card to the island council. The newly installed ATM in Nekorendu offers 24-hour self-service banking, including cash withdrawals and deposits for both individuals and businesses, as well as bill payment and transfer services. The ATM expansion in Nekorendu is part of a larger nationwide initiative by the government and BML to provide financial services to every inhabited island. Dubbed the Mulirajya BML ATM project, this ambitious plan was launched by President Dr. Muiz in November 2024. The goal is to ensure that all inhabited islands in the Maldives have access to an ATM by the end of 2025. This project, overseen by the Ministry of Economic Development, aims to promote financial empowerment and boost local economic growth. During his visit, the president also met with local stakeholders, including the Island Council, WDC, and heads of local institutions. President Muiz also inaugurated the newly built handball court in the island and witnessed the groundbreaking for the fitness and recreation center in the island. The president's next stop after Nekorendu is Koludufushi City.
Former Minister Hamdun Hamid is appointed as an advisor to the Minister of Finance and Planning. The ministry confirmed the appointment, noting his position is at the ministerial level, though the specific date of his appointment remains unclear. Hamdun Hamid has had a long public service career, having served as the Minister of Planning and National Development under former President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom's government from 2003 until 2008. He later served as the non-resident ambassador to Singapore from 2016 until 2018. The advisory for Hamdun Hamid, with an extensive planning background, follows a recent government restructuring where the Ministry of Finance and Planning was renamed and its mandate revised in a cabinet reshuffle in December last year. This change involved transferring the planning functions from the former Ministry of Housing, Construction and Urban Development. The government has initiated the Eku Eki Youth Peer Education Pilot Program in Koludufushi City, Hadal Atoll. The program is conducted in collaboration with the Ministry of Social and Family Development and the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, to raise awareness among young people aged 18 to 25 against domestic violence and gender-based violence, promote equality and positive change in society. The curriculum focuses on teaching participants how to communicate effectively, resolve conflicts, and recognize both their own and others' mental health needs. This training will equip them with essential skills and knowledge to drive positive change within their own communities. The program offers a unique opportunity for attendees to gain practical experience in key areas such as gender equality, conflict resolution, and communication. Participants include 18 young people from Koludufushi, Hanimadu, Kumundu and Vakaradu, 4 of whom have disabilities. By involving young people in discussions and programs that promote respect and empathy, the initiative seeks to foster a more equitable and violence-free society. Shares in Nissan Motors slumps around 6% after its second largest shareholder, Mercedes-Benz, said it would sell its 3.8% stake in the struggling Japanese automaker.
The slide underlines investor skepticism over Nissan's turnaround prospects as it battles tariffs and falling sales in its key markets, the US and China, that saw it book a $535 million loss for the 3 months ended June CEO Ivan Espinosa, who took the helm in April, has announced a sweeping restructuring plan that entails slashing global production capacity to 2.5 million vehicles from 3.5 million and manufacturing sites to 10 from 17 by fiscal 2027 in a bid to restore profits. Nissan shares were trading at around $2.31 in mid-morning, down 6% from Monday's close, putting them on track for the steepest one-day decline since early July. On 25th August, a Mercedes spokesperson said the Nissan stake, which was transferred to its pension assets in 2016, was not of strategic importance and described the planned sale as cleaning out its portfolio.
UN spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric at a media briefing says the UN Secretary General strongly condemns the killings of Palestinians today in Israeli strikes that hit Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip.
Israel struck Nasser Hospital in the south of Gaza Strip, killing at least 20 people, including 5 journalists who worked for Reuters, the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, and others. Palestinian health officials says cameraman Hussam Al-Masri, a Reuters contractor, was killed near a live broadcasting position operated by Reuters on an upper floor just below the roof of hospital in Khan Yunis in an initial strike. Officials at the hospital and witnesses said Israel then struck the site a second time, killing other journalists as well as rescue workers and medics who had rushed to the scene to help. The journalists killed include Mariam Abu Daga, who freelanced for the Associated Press and other outlets, Mohammed Salama, who worked for Qatar-based broadcaster Al Jazeera, Muaz Abu Taha, a freelance journalist who worked with several news organizations, including occasionally contributing to Reuters, and Ahmed Abu Aziz.
The Secretary General strongly condemns the killings of Palestinians today in Israeli strikes that hit Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip. Those killed, in addition to civilians, included medical personnel and journalists. We want to extend our condolences to families and colleagues of those journalists killed, especially those representative of the Associated Press, Reuters, and Al Jazeera who are in this room or online.
Photographer Hatim Khalid, also a Reuters contractor, was also wounded. The terrorist regime of Israel acknowledged they struck the area as the genocide in Gaza continues to unfold, sparing neither residents, children, or media.
ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುರ್ಷಿಗ ಗಾಯಂ ಕುರವೆ ದೇವಣ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಮಿಹಾಸ ಕುರವಣಿ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತುಗ ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುಟ್ಟಕಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಬೇರುಗ $US ATM ಹೆದಮ BML ನುಂದೆ ಸಿಟಿ ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುಟ್ಟಕಿ ಉತುರುಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿ ಹಬಕ ವೆಫಾ ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುರ್ಷಿಗ ಹುಳುವೆ ದೇವಣ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಆದೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಆಯಕು ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುಟ್ಟ ಮಿಸರಹದ್ದುಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿ ವೆರಿನ್ನ ಹಿದ್ಮತ್ತ ಫುಳಾ ಕುರವಿಗೆನ್ ದಾಣಕಂ ಫಾಹ ಕೊಲ್ಲ ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುರ್ಷಿಗ ಗಾಯಂ ಕುರವೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಲ್ಡೀವ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ ಬಿಂಗ ಅಳುವ ದೆವ್ಮ ಅಳಗೊಂಡು ಮಿ ದನ್ನವಾಲನಿ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಮೂಸಾ ಜಮೀರುವ ಅದಿ ಅರಿಹುಗ ವಡಾಯತ್ಮ BMLಗೆ ಚೇರ್ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ಅಲಿ ಹಬೀಬ್ ಅದಿ CEO ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಶರೀಫ್ಗೆ ಇತುರು ಮಿ ಕುಳ್ದು ಫುರ್ಷಿಗೆ ದೆದಾಯರಾಗೆ ಇಜ್ಜತರಿ ಮೆಂಬರುನ್ನ ದನ್ನೋ ಶುಕ್ರಿಯಾ ಅಳ್ಗೊಂಡ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಅಮಾಜಕಿ ಕುರಿಯಂ ದೆಮಸ್ ದೋಹಗೆ ತೆರೆಗ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಿ ಕಸ್ಟಮರುನ್ನ ಹಿದುಮೆದ್ದೇಂ ಫೆಶು ಇಜತೆ ರೈಸುಲ್ ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿಯಾ ಮಿ ರಸ್ಮಿಯತ್ಗ ಬ್ಯಾರಿಯಡಾಗೆನ್ ದೆವ್ವಿತಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗೆ ಬೋರ್ಡ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅದಿ ಹುರಿಹಾ ಮೋಜಫಂಗ ಫರಾತುಂ ರೈಸ ನುಹಣ ದೊಯಬ್ಬ ಇಹುತಿರಾಮಾಯಕು ಶುಕ್ರು ದನ್ನೋ ಅದಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ರತ್ತ ಹೋಗಿ ತರಗ್ಗಿಯ ರೈಸುಲ್ ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿಯಾ ದೆವ್ವ ಹಾಸ ಇಸ್ಕಮಟ್ಟಕ ಕುಳುದುಫುಶಿಗೆ ರೈತಗೆ ಹೈಸಿಯತುಂ ಅಳಗೊಂಡು ಹಾಸ ಶುಕುರೆ ರೈಸ ದನ್ನೋ ಎಮ್ಮಿಹಾ ಬೇಫುಳುನ ವರ ಬಾಜೇರಿ ದುಹಕಂ ಎದೆಂ ವಸ್ಸಲಾಮು ಅಲೈಕುಂ